first, we're going to start off with the Raiders today. Mike, what did you see out of the Raiders last night on Monday Night Football?
Their offense is despicable. I'm kind of speechless, honestly. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, dude. 10 for 21, 126 yards and an interception. He was sacked 6 times. Devontae Adams, 7 targets, 1 catch, 11 yards. Michael Mayer and Jacoby Myers each had 1 catch for 19 yards. But, I mean, obviously the Raiders lost. Their best glimmer of hope on offense was Josh Jacobs, who ran for 15 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown. He also led the team in receiving with, let's check this, 2 catches for 27 yards.
And the Raiders didn't have a completion to a wide receiver in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's correct.
Was that the entire first half or just the first quarter?
The entire first half.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Devontae, I don't think Jacoby Myers was targeted. He might have been in the first half. Devontae was targeted in double coverage in the end zone, and it was picked off. And that was in the first half. But really, the defense was the only thing that kept us in this game. I mean, the score at the end felt like they weren't in it, but they were within 2 points multiple times in this game, as far out as in the third quarter of the game. The fourth quarter, the Lions took over, but Max Crosby had a tackle for loss, QB hit, forced fumble. Luke Masterson had a nice forced fumble. Nate Hobbs had a sack, QB hit, tackle for loss. And then, of course, Marcus Peters got a pick 6. To start the game, I mean, the Raiders' offense, again, was just horrible. They didn't score until the second quarter on a drive where they ran Jacobs, I think, 7 times. Let me actually pull up the tweet because it was a nice drive. It was one nice drive where they really focused on developing the run, and they succeeded, and it turned into a touchdown, right? And I've been saying all season, like, get Jacobs going, develop the run. And up until this game, it felt like they really hadn't been able to. And it's funny because the Lions might have the best rush defense in the league, at least statistically.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacobs looked like last season's form for the first time this season, I'd say, other than a few runs here and there this season.
Mm-hmm.
Jacobs ran the ball 7 times on the Raiders' touchdown drive. That's Jacobs' most rushes on a single drive this season, per Paul Gutierrez on Twitter. So I quote tweeted that with trust your best players, coach. Like, come on. It's really, it doesn't seem like it's that hard. I know it probably is, but like, you have great players on this offense, and yet you cannot find success. It really doesn't make sense, other than the quarterback play being that bad, which against the Lions, it was. Mm-hmm. And really, I'm done with Garoppolo. Done.
You should.
I don't want to see him again this season. I don't want to see him again in a Raider uniform, but he will. He'll play. But I'd rather put in Aiden O'Connell. I would have put him in at halftime. There's no excuse to keep playing Garoppolo. I don't care what he's being paid. I don't care what his guarantees are moving forward. I think that this team is in denial. I think that you said it best a couple episodes ago. You said something along the lines of this Raiders team is confusing. And
they're incredibly confusing, because I might have said it after we went over the Bears game, and I'm just like, I don't know what to make of this team.
Yeah. Well, I think they are a team that is led by a coach who thinks that he can win any game, and it's kind of true. At least that's how I feel about every team. I mean, we had a shocker this week. The Broncos beat the Chiefs. Any given Sunday, somebody can beat another team. We'll
Mhm.
probably go out there and beat a team that we shouldn't beat at some point this season. Hopefully the Chiefs, but
It almost looked like for a little bit there that you guys might upset the Lions.
yeah,
Like,
the Josh Jacobs drive put us within 2, it was 9-7, and then eventually Marcus Peters got the pick 6 on a really bad throw by Jared Goff. I don't know if it was a throwaway or if he expected the receiver to cut back. I don't know, but Marcus Peters looked like himself for one play and, timed it well, saw what was happening, and actually caught the pass and ran it back for a touchdown.
to be fair
Um,
to Jared Goff, he threw a touchdown.
yeah, yeah, unlike Garoppolo. Um, yeah, but that pick six kept them within 2 again, and then in the fourth quarter and late third, Jahmyr Gibbs just started taking off. I mean, and Jahmyr Gibbs was going off in the first quarter. Like the amount of touches he was getting was insane.
Yeah, he had like 7 or 8 touches in like the first drive. They were
Yeah,
really utilizing him, and then like uh the Lions, I don't know, it sort of seemed like they took their foot off the gas pedal and like started to get other players involved, and that's when their offense was stagnant. And then like later in the game, they went back to Gibbs and like absolutely erupted.
yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs, 26 carries for 152 yards, touchdown, 5 catches, 37 yards. Jared Goff, 26 for 37 for 272, touchdown and an interception. The Lions had 486 total yards, compared to the Raiders' 157 total
Hmm.
yards.
Hmm.
Lions turned over the ball 3 times. 2 forced fumbles by Crosby and Masterson, as well as the interception for the pick six. The Raiders only turned the ball over once, and yet, you know, the finish to this game was so horrendous. And I
Hmm.
think part of that was because of the success of the Lions' run game, which is something that is not new to any team. Um, but also, the Lions led in time of possession. They had the ball for 39 minutes and 33 seconds. The Raiders had it for 20 minutes and 27 seconds. That's your difference of the game.
Hmm. Real quick, if I may, Mike, I want to sort of give a little apology to Raider fans, and I would like to justify myself or I guess vindicate myself at the same time. Um, because when you guys first signed Garoppolo, I was like, you guys need a change of culture. But at the same time, I knew that Garoppolo wasn't going to mesh with Devonte Adams. Like, I think I've been pretty consistent on saying, Garoppolo and Adams are not a good match for one another. And you know, I do think it was time for the Raiders to move on from Carr, but I'm telling you, uh, you know, I'm wrong in the fact that I think the Raiders might have had a better shot to win that game if Derek Carr was playing, because Adams was wide open at least twice for 2 possible touchdowns, actually
He could
3, because
he
the interception. If Jimmy just gets a little bit more air under the ball,
mhm.
throws it to the back pylon, Adams is scoring 6. Instead, Jimmy underthrows it, and he just doesn't have a deep ball. He can't ever gauge uh, what he wants to do. He just heaves it up.
Yeah, I was thinking about it when I saw I think it was ESPN top 10 plays. Yeah, and yet, you know,
He doesn't use
what
them.
and he doesn't well, I think it's partially McDaniels because I don't think I don't know. When they run 3 wide receiver sets, there's a chance that it might be Trey Tucker or, DeAndre Carter coming on the field rather than Renfro. I have no idea what's going on with Renfro. Also, welcome
Mhm.
back, Fonzie.
Yeah. Fonzie, thank you again for checking us out. But Fonzie says, I don't remember his name, but I think the Raiders should start the rookie that had a good preseason. I feel like
Yeah,
we're going to talk about that. Mike already alluded to the fact that he doesn't want to see Garoppolo ever again. And the biggest mistake the Raiders made was restructuring Garoppolo to push his money further down the line.
Yeah.
Because, all right, let's just say the Raiders do get a top pick in a quarterback. One of the advantages of having a rookie, a rookie quarterback is the rookie quarterback contract. And you are essentially, you're still, what happened?
Wow.
What happened?
So let's just take a timeout for a second. I don't know. We're gonna have to add this to the Niners thing, obviously.
Oh,
I don't look at your phone. Don't look at your phone.
okay.
What did I say the Niners should trade for?
Jalen Johnson?
You need either a cornerback and or defensive line help. The 49ers have traded for Commanders defensive end Chase Young.
Oh, all right. We're definitely going to talk about that. I've wanted Chase Young like for a while. I didn't think it was possible, but like, now we have the Ohio State pass rush. But we'll get to that in a minute. I wonder what they gave up for him, but we'll talk about that in a minute when we pull it up.
First.
Let's finish up with the Raiders before we go on tangents. The Raiders now are devoting the money over to the quarterbacks, regardless of whether they get a first-round quarterback or not.
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
Fonzie's also blown away by the Chase Young news.
That's crazy. I mean, if you could somehow get Jalen Johnson too, you guys are set. Yeah, wow. Yeah, we'll get to the Niners. Yeah, I don't. When they restructured Garoppolo, I was really fucking confused about what their goal was. Obviously, it was to make cap space for this season, but I don't even remember them making any moves, like significant moves after that. It's like, oh, what a bonehead! That really irks me. Here, let me look at something. Sorry. Christian Kuhn had a good couple of tweets. He was basically, going through the process of what it would take to, cut and what it would cost to cut Jimmy Garoppolo.
28 million?
Well, yes,
I think it's 28 million in dead cap next year if they move on from him.
Okay, so from Hondo Carpenter, Jimmy Garoppolo is a quote-unquote deal for the Raiders this season at a price tag of $6 million and 732,000. 2024 third round pick going from the Niners to Commanders for Chase Young.
Third? We got him for a third?
How?
Say less.
How did they get a second?
Niners got a second?
No.
Chase Young's contract must be.
Well, the Bears traded Montez Sweat to the Bears for a second, which is a high second. But maybe Chase Young hasn't been that good, but I would value Chase Young higher than Montez Sweat. But whatever. All right, whatever.
All right, let's finish Raiders. We will get to that. I promise you, we will get to that. Fonzie, stay tuned. We will talk about that.
So, $6.5 million this year for Garoppolo. That was part of the restructure, right? They wanted to get his price tag down. He was supposed to be at like 22 per year or something. And it was like 11 million guaranteed. And then, the whole addendum G and all that shit happened with the ankle. But next year he's on the books for a whopping $28.5 million. Now, of course, I can't find the tweet that I'm looking for. So sorry. I just want to see. Also, I mean, I'll throw this out here.
I think I know the tweet you're talking about. So let me find it.
Per multiple sources, Davante Adams has not requested a trade, which is kind of crazy to me.
No, I heard that he did request a trade, but the Raiders made it clear that they're not going to trade him.
I don't think he ever requested a trade, honestly.
So he just likes to not be productive.
I mean, I don't know. Clearly he's upset, but I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, are you talking about Josh Dubow? I think Josh Dubow had the tweet.
No, I'm pretty sure it was. All right, here it is. All right, Raiders beat tweets. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to cost the Raiders $28 million next year, whether he's on the roster or not. Tristan Kuhn says a post 6-1 release saves $13 million.
A post June
Post
1st.
post June 1st. Yeah.
Well, at least you get some of it back. But yeah, definitely Jimmy's got to be gone this offseason if you're able to save money. If you can't save money, you just got to keep him bent. You got to bench him. I do think he will be the starter going forward the next, several weeks.
Yeah.
But, once the season gets out of hand, which you could argue that it already is,
Mm.
I think you have to see what you have in O'Connell, because if O'Connell's any good, you have to know what you're going to be drafting in the first round because you're going to have like a top end pick.
Yeah.
Did you send me a tweet?
Yeah, I just sent you that. If you can put it on the screen, that'd be sick. Okay.
Boom!
Great fucking play. Just fun.
See, the Lions may have won the game, but Aiden Hutchinson lost the battle.
I'm so annoyed that I can't find this tweet. I had it.
I had Max Crosby and Aiden Hutchinson in the thumbnail, and I think Crosby played way better than Hutchinson did. Crosby
Yeah.
had a really good game, I thought.
Oh, I mean, I don't know how he only ended up with only one tackle for loss. I felt like he had at least 3. Okay, so Tristan Kuhn tweeted this: a post 6-1, post June 1st release of next season, so they could cut him in the offseason and or I think it's after a certain point in the not regular season, sorry, in the offseason. It's like maybe it's post draft. Then you can cut him and call it post June 1st, even though it's not June yet. The release frees the cap space after June 1st, which is where it can be spent. It doesn't keep his $28 million cap hit, only $13 million of it. And then, let me see, there should be something about the following season. I don't know. Okay, and then it says, and then $15 million the next year. So it kind of breaks it up into 2 years, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's the best plan of attack for getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, is you cut him post June 1st, and you spread the $28 million cap hit over 2 seasons, next year and the following. But that, to make a long story short, I know this was really a long-winded way of saying they should have never restructured his contract, because I'm pretty sure he had like wording in his contract to where they could have cut him next offseason and not owed him very much, especially the 3rd year. But now it's like, well, regardless, we have to pay him at least $28 million. That's,
You know who
I think,
deserves a raise? Don
no.
Yee. Don Yee, his agent.
Oh,
My God. The way that Jimmy Garoppolo was able to play 5 games for the Niners and then become the highest paid player in the NFL, in NFL history at that point, and
yeah.
then now he's like, they're really sticking it to the Raiders. Like,
Yeah. I don't
yeah.
know. I wish this is hindsight, and I always like when this was ongoing, I had this in the back of my head because I just figured like, oh, I don't know if this season's going to be good. I wish in hindsight that his ankle never cleared,
Or
and
his
he
foot.
had to get cut.
His
Yeah.
foot.
So they never would have owed him anything. I mean, obviously that would have been the best case scenario. And then you just have to force Aiden O'Connell out there. But this is the last thing I'll say on this. There are so many quarterbacks from this past offseason that would have been better. I watched a highlight from no, of course I'm forgetting his name. The Colts quarterback,
Richardson or Minshew?
Minshew. I think he was a free agent this offseason. He would have been better. He would have been far better than Garoppolo. Baker Mayfield would have been far better than Garoppolo. I think Jacoby Brissett would have been better. So, and cheaper.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what those quarterbacks don't have that Jimmy has?
Previous experience with McDaniels. Actually, Brissett has experience, but
Brissett does. Jimmy's handsome. Jimmy will sell tickets.
yeah, not anymore.